Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Happiness from Within. I am so honored for today's guest. We have Alejandra Font. And as you guys know, our mission here at Happiness from Within is to touch people's hearts and souls at a very deep level through interviews. And I really feel that her story is just absolutely epic. They're also in the health field, which we talk a lot about health. So I actually have her here on the line. Hi, Alejandra.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
Great. Thank you so much for having me and that beautiful intro. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So we met last year at the Passionate Few event. It was really an honor to meet you and your husband. And I just was so ecstatic and really pumped up with you guys' interview that you did with Omar. And I was like, I gotta get them on my podcast.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, I know you guys have been through a lot. And so the first question that I want to ask, so we're in the middle right now of a global epidemic, and I'm just curious to ask, how are you guys doing, and how is, just first, how are you doing? How are you guys doing?
So, as far as our health and our family, thank God we're fine. We really haven't been affected in a negative way by COVID. Of course, our business has suffered. We were shut down for 88 days, and now we are operating most of our locations, but it's with very limited capacity. They're only letting us operate outside. So it's been definitely a hurdle the past, several months. Have been different from anything that I've experienced the previous 10 years. We just had our 10-year anniversary for the camp. So it's been a complete whirlwind, whatever, from the 10 years that I thought were very difficult, in a way, but this has been definitely different, very challenging.
Wow, thank you for sharing. What has it been like? Have you guys been able to do your classes outside, like the workouts?
Yeah. So we are operating outside. We're probably operating at about 45% to what we would have been had the pandemic not been going on. So we're definitely limited. Revenues are definitely down, but that's okay. I feel like we've learned so much in the past several months, just ways to make it work, ways to pivot our business, and reacting very quickly instead of waiting around and thinking about what to do. We just take massive action very quickly, and that's made a huge difference.
That's so key what you said about taking massive action, because right now a lot of people, I'm sure you would agree, it's just like it's all at different levels, right? I mean, everybody's being affected by this. It's like, but there's a lot of people that are very depressed, right? And you get stuck, right? And I honor that space for anybody that's listening. It's definitely, it can be like a very serious condition, I mean, going to see.
I mean, it's a lot that people are dealing with.
But just the fact that you said taking action is like really, really key. So that's really, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I grew up in Pasadena, California. I'm currently living in Chino Hills, have been for the past 20 years. My nationality, my background is Colombian, South American. My husband's Venezuelan, so South American as well. We mesh very, very well. We're very much like very Americanized, but we're still very Latin. So we're like a perfect combination together, because he's not too Latin or too Americanized. Like, it's just a perfect combination. We get along super well, thankfully. And then growing up in Pasadena, moved to Chino Hills, and it's been great. That's where we started our business, the camp 10 years ago, but we've been here for 20 years now.
That's wonderful. So what got you into health? Like, where did all this journey start from? Did it start at a young age? Was it in your teenage years?
So no, actually it wasn't. It was later in life. I had always been, not a very athletic person whatsoever. I was always the last one to get chosen on the teams, in elementary school when they choose teams. I was always the last one to be selected. I was never athletic. But then once I got into my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, I started seeing people with that strong looking physique, like the gymnastics physique. And I always thought that was so attractive. I really liked it. So after I had my kids, I decided, which was like later in my late 20s, I decided that I want to go for that look physically. So I went for it. I started training myself. I just absorbed all the information that I could find online. Back then, there wasn't a ton of information, but I figured out a lot of things that I could eat and different exercises. And then I ended up getting certified because I really loved it. And that's kind of how the passion grew. Women at the gym started approaching me, asking me if I would train them, asking me for advice on what to eat, etc. And that's really when the spark began for my interest in fitness. So I was like early 30s when that happened. So it was definitely not, as a young girl.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. So when you were going through your transformation process, this word transformation, I feel is something that's been coming up a lot. And I just think you're such a perfect example that when you were going through your journey, and of course it's still a journey today, right? It's like every day getting up.
It never stops. Yeah.
Yeah, like what was that like for you? Just anything you'd like to share, somebody listening, maybe they want to transform their body. I mean, obviously it's a mental, physical, spiritual thing, but what sort of advice or just anything you'd like to share in regards to when you transforming yourself inside out with food and exercise?
I think you hit it on the head. It's really, it's a mental thing. It's a physical thing. It starts with your heart. But honestly, the physical part is the easiest part. If your mindset is not right, and I'm sure your listeners have heard this over and over again, but your mind has to be right. Your mind has to make the decision, because of course, sticking to anything that you want is going to be, hard work, right? Improving your life in any way is going to take work. When it comes to improving your life, physically and like as far as your health goes, changing the way you're eating and maybe going to the gym often, it's definitely work. It's human beings tend to want the easy way out, but if you want this type of life, you're going to have to put in the work. So mentally, you have to have made that decision to really want it. Your why has to be bigger than just looking good. Your why has to be very powerful in order to keep that motivation throughout.
Wow.
Like long term.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your morning routine.
Sure. My morning routine, I always start with my workout. That's, the first thing I do once I leave the house. But initially I just get up. I think it's very important, and I've trained myself to thank the universe or my God or whatever as soon as I wake up. And I almost always remember to do it. Sometimes I forget, but just thank God for the life that I have and the fact that I woke up and that I'm healthy and that my kids are healthy and my husband is healthy. That's the first thing. And it really helps me it just makes me feel good. I'm sure it's a common practice. I've heard a lot of people doing it, and it just helps you really kind of realize that even though you may have a ton of issues and problems and obstacles, there's a lot to be thankful for. And then I have my coffee. That's number 2 on the list and very important, a huge priority. And I sit down and journal, and I do a lot of scripting. So I write like the 5 things that I'm most grateful for. And I do this every day. So of course I write in regard to my health, but I also will say like, I'm thankful for my comfortable bed, or the delicious meal I ate last night, or the fact that, the kids and I were watching TV last night and having fun. I mentioned these little things that you think are not a big deal a lot of times, but they really are what make up your life, all these little moments. So I write those moments from the previous day in my journal, and then I start scripting. And with my scripting, I'm just, outlining really what my life is, how I want it to be. I just am proclaiming, a lot of positivity and, the fact that everything works out for me, just a lot of, perfection and miracles in my life, whether they currently exist or not. So I feel like I'm creating them as I write.
Wow, that's amazing. How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing the scripting for probably like over a year now. I learned that from someone through YouTube. I can't remember who. But the journal writing, I've been doing that for a while, for probably a good 3 years or so. Yeah.
That's
So then
incredible.
once all that's done, I get ready and I go to the gym. And then at the gym, of course, it's one of our gyms. So I'm in workout mode and I'm also in work mode. So I'm there for like 3 hours because part of the time I'm working out. And then the other part of the time I'm actually working.
Absolutely. That's really powerful what you shared, because it's simple to do and also simple not to do. Like, a lot of people might say, yeah, I'm going to do that. But the fact that you've instilled it as a habit this last year, I think that's incredible. And from what you're sharing, I mean, it seems like it's really changed your life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
just being grateful for those 5 things, I mean, whatever it is, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's really powerful. And anybody listening, if that's something that resonates with you, even if you start with 2 things a day, right? So thank you for sharing that. That's really, I love that. It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. No, it really, really has changed my life because when you, even though there may be so many things going wrong in your life, there are more good things happening in your life, even though they might be very small and seeming insignificant. They definitely outweigh the negative things that are going on.
Thank you for that. So a lot of my listeners are women. I do also have incredible men that listen. Thank you to the men. But yeah, just for anybody listening, my question to you is this: is any woman out there that is, building a business, what advice would you give to them? Just anything that comes to your heart.
Gosh, I think start before you're ready, which so cliche. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all heard it. Start before you're ready, and really don't worry about the chatter in your head, because I think that holds us back so much. It's held me back and it still holds me back. I have to talk myself out of that chatter in our head that feels like everyone's going to judge us and that it's a stupid thing that we're going to put out there or post, or a business we're going to start. Just get over that hump, because people are going to talk regardless, whether it's good or bad. People are always going to be talking about you. Just do your thing, stay in your lane. And then also resourcefulness is probably the biggest one of the biggest keys to, at least to my success. It's been being resourceful, not having all the answers, but figuring it out, going out there and finding the answers.
Wow, I love that. I would love to dive a little bit deeper into your story. So one thing I love, I'm going to let you share, but just this passion that you had for wanting to open your gym. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So initially, I mean, it was just a desire that I had because we had been entrepreneurs. When I was getting my training certificate, I was already in business. My husband and I were in business for ourselves. It wasn't something that I was doing because I figured I would end up owning a business, because we already had our business. But I just wanted to, expand my knowledge on it. And then when 2008, the recession came, we lost our business. And I realized I don't want to work for anyone. I want to do my own thing for sure. And this is something I'm very passionate about. Really, the fact that I would give women a little bit of advice or coach them a little bit at the gym, and they would be so thankful and so appreciative of what I was, how I was helping them, really impacted me. And I had never really felt that before in my previous business. So I thought, my God, how amazing would it be if I could open a business where I could do this on a large scale? If you're a personal trainer, you're just training one client at a time. So you're very limited. But with the style of business that I figured we could do was, large group training. So I could essentially impact, hundreds of people in a day, really. So that was the reason that we decided to do something, larger scale, and not just personal training, or not just, go to work at like a LA Fitness or 24-hour fitness and just become a personal trainer. I wanted to really make an impact to a larger group of people.
That's incredible. What makes Camp Transformation different than other gyms?
We really focus on, first of all, people that typically don't have a gym membership. So a lot of the times, most of our clients that come in for the first time haven't stepped foot into the gym in 20 years, 15, 20 years. That's very, very common. Of course, we have people that have already gotten in great shape and they continue to work out with us. But our core client that comes in initially feels uncomfortable going to Orange Theory or 24-hour fitness. They're not sure how to work out. They don't have the education on how to eat to, help them get healthy. So that's really the biggest difference. We're a safe place for these people to come in, be vulnerable, and, help them get in shape.
That's great. And how many locations are you guys at right now?
We're currently at 102 locations.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
What's your vision for the future? Like, how many locations do you guys want to open?
Our next goal is to get to 200 locations, and we're hoping within the next, 3 to 4 years. It's been great because really practically every single franchisee has come from within, either an employee of ours or a member that has decided that they want to buy into the franchise concept. I think we only have currently 3 that haven't been members or a part of the camp before. So it's really a testament to, the transformation that takes place in their lives when they're coming, and the fact that they want to, spread this to their community.
Oh my gosh, we were just talking about transformation, and that's right. That's the name of your guys.
Yeah, the Camp Transformation Center.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. So my next question to you is, what does happiness from within mean to you? There's no right or wrong answer, just anything that comes to mind.
For me personally, it's definitely my family. Knowing my family is well. We were in a situation back in 2008 where we basically lost everything. We declared bankruptcy. We had, 0 income, 2 little kids, a house to pay for, food to buy, obviously. And I felt obviously a little bit nervous, but I was content. I was okay because my family was okay. And of course I knew my husband and I would figure it out. If we had to go get a job at McDonald's to make ends meet, we would do it. No problem. Any job like that is not beneath me. As long as it's not illegal, I'm willing to do it if I have to. So I remember back then feeling okay. I know we're going to get through this, but I'm okay because my boys are with me. My husband's with me. We're all healthy. We're all together. They were very young at the time. The boys were. So honestly, I think it's just family. The things that come along with success in business are fantastic, but things like that could come and go. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen with friendships. But to me, the most important thing is my family, for sure.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. So you and your husband have been able to build a multi-6-figure, I think multi-million-dollar business, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just such an honor to have you on this platform. And
Thank you.
yeah, it just, I wanted to ask, just for anybody that's listening, it could be anything about life. I just want to actually open it up. Just any advice that you have, just anything that comes to mind right now, just any advice that you'd like to give.
Sure. In regard to your audience is mainly women wanting to do
maybe
business.
Confidence, healing, just anything you'd like. Anything, any energy that's coming through you. It's going to be the right thing that you're going to say.
Okay.
Maybe confidence. I feel like confidence is coming up. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with confidence. Confidence, I feel like it's a muscle that you have to continually exercise. You have to work it out. You have to practice it. It's not something I think that for a lot of people, I know for me, it doesn't come natural. I have to practice it. I have to have those conversations in my head in regard to the fact that I am, enough, and I am good enough, and I can do this, and all that stuff. And you also, I feel, the more you execute on things that you want to accomplish, like for example, your podcast, the fact that you started it, that you're doing it, that I'm sure that has given you a lot of confidence, right? because now you look back and you're like, oh my God, I've done all these interviews. I have this podcast. I have the videographer people. Like, you've executed. So prior to starting, you were probably not feeling as confident. And now you're like, oh, that was not that bad. That wasn't that hard. So really putting your, whatever you want to do to action, I think gives you a lot of confidence, because you learn and you grow and you might fall, but you're bigger, when it's done. You've accomplished more toward the end of it.
I love that. What does transformation mean to you? How would you describe that?
There's so many, that's such a buzzword right now, right? Transformation. And I think it's important to realize that you don't necessarily have to, have a complete transformation. There could be just a few tweaks that you feel that you need to make your life a little bit better. But I feel like there's so much focus on that. And like, if you're not like an entrepreneur or like absolutely killing it in business and stuff, you haven't achieved that transformation. Some people are perfectly happy being stay-at-home moms, and that's awesome. I think you got to do whatever works for you internally. So maybe that goal of someone else isn't ideal for you.
Wow, that's like the best answer I've ever heard. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we all have beautiful, unique missions. Like you said, it could be being the best mom, and that is so
Right.
beautiful. The best entrepreneur, the best receptionist. It's like,
right, exactly. Like,
yeah.
I'm big on like owning whatever you do. Like, if you want to be like an assistant to, a CEO, own that. Like, do it. Like, be the best assistant ever. Do the best job ever. Don't come in here and be like, oh, just kind of punching the clock because it's what you have to do right now until you move up the ladder or whatever. Like, every single thing you do, you have to do it amazingly. Like they say, how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So like, kick butt at whatever job that you're doing.
Wow, Alejandra, thank you for that. That's amazing. So I know this is a really short interview, but I just really just any last words that you'd like to share. I just would love to for our audience, anything that comes through your heart, any last minute words you'd like to share.
Yeah. I think for women, I know being a woman, obviously, and having a lot of female friends in business, and even, not in business. I have a lot of friends that are stay-at-home moms and teachers and stuff. I think women have a lot of vulnerabilities, and it's something that men have them, but they don't talk about them. And I think it's very powerful that us as women, we are okay with, I think it seems like it, at least the women that I'm around, seems like they're okay displaying their vulnerabilities. And it really makes us special. It makes us more beautiful. The fact that we can be real enough to, say that something worries you or scares you, or you're nervous about something. So I think women should kind of embrace that, instead of, let's say, for example, women in business trying to like live in this man's world, in the business world. Like, be a female, be you, show your emotions, show your vulnerabilities. It's okay. Your work is going to speak for itself. The way you execute on your plan, or if you have a job on, the task that you have to do is going to speak for itself. You got to do it awesome. But I don't think we should hide those vulnerabilities that we have as females. I think they're a gift.
Wow, that's beautiful. Just to add one thing really quick to what you said, it's just adding to actually everything you've been saying about being true to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And being in that moment.
Absolutely.
So, wow. Alejandra, I really want to thank you so much. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram, just my first and last name, Alejandra at the Camp TC, and Facebook as well. Facebook is more like geared toward camp people and camp members and stuff. I post a lot about in regard to the camp. Instagram is just kind of more a little bit of everything.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I want to thank you so much for being a guest here at Happiness from Within. We'll definitely do a round 2 sometime next year. But thank
For
you so
sure.
much, and I honor your presence, and I just wish you a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much, Janet.
Welcome. I'll talk to you soon. Have a beautiful
Okay,
day.
thank you for
Thanks.
having me.
You're welcome. Bye for now.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.